you. Very nice to see a lot of faces. And when we're thinking about it, there are so many fantastically exciting things we can do, but we have all chosen to be here. This is our exciting moment. And another really exciting thing you can do if you really want to test your set of nerves is actually to replace a full ops system at an airline. And I think that's not only changing, we're replacing it, but actually doing it in less than 6 months. And this is what we have done from my guest software together with Transavia. And I would like to give you a bit of whole months. I've been training on that a bit. So from Transavia, the product owner and operations, and he was the man who actually helped us to go through with this. And we'll take a look into what Transavia is from the beginning. So we set the floor for the stage for this case study, and I'll try to guide through the presentation. But for you, I give you Victor.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks for having us. And it was Victor Goumans, but close enough for those what he said. Transavia Airlines, low-cost airline located with its headquarters in Amsterdam. We have some bases in, well, I'll get to that, 7.8 million passengers and growing on an annual basis, 50,000 flights a year. In 3 bases, main base operating on most of our flights from Amsterdam, Rotterdam and Eindhoven. We do operate flights from Brussels as well, but it's not a crew base yet, I think. Over 100 destinations. We operate a fleet of mini Boeing, 42 aircraft. It will change a little bit per season. Some aircraft are dry leased out to KLM at the moment. And exciting for the company is our reception of the first Airbus A321. Ferry flight will be on the 7th of December, and operations to commence just before Christmas. So I'm the product owner for Team Op Steering. We're located within the passenger and operations domain with the main focus for OCC. The applications that we mentioned, of course, now is flight ops software for IBS, but also from an integration standpoint, lots of data that the OCC needs to make their decisions in disruption management. And Lido is another main system that we manage on our side.
So thank you, Victor. I mean, as we can see, it's not just any airline, it's Transavia, it's a pretty decent size airline, and certainly with almost 8 million passengers, I can probably say that I've contributed to that number. And we're looking at set the stage to who we are going to deal with. But if we look a little bit back, could you take us a little bit through why would an airline even engage in thinking about replacing the ops system? What are the triggers?
Well, for us it was mainly that we saw a rise in the past few years regarding complexity in operations that we are running. For me this is quite complex if you look at an aircraft engine. But we've been working our way to reduce the complexity within the landscape, reduce the number of applications that were needed by the OCC to get all the data insights they needed to manage disruptions, and really to look at from an integration standpoint, or simplify the landscape to serve as more plug and play landscape from an IT perspective. Our business area, as I mentioned, were mostly the rising complexity. We're growing in the number of multi-day pairings, so crew staying overnight at outstations, getting into a mixed fleet, which we haven't been experiencing in the past 57 years that we've now existed. Airport slots, we see an increase in complexity on that side. Recently I heard about more sustainable airport slots coming heading across Europe. Forcing us to have more efficient aircraft, and for that reason we're also switching to the A321 for the next 8 years, increasing our entire fleet. And in a sense managing all the data from all the different applications that the OCC uses in their disruption management, and that's where we try to consolidate as much as possible. For that reason we started searching, besides the obvious lifecycle management issue, we were searching for another application.
that's good. And I mean, replacing an op system is certainly nothing that you do overnight. It's not something that you do very often. It requires quite a big planning behind it, bringing teams and so on. But so what was your, at Transavia, what was your kind of final reason when you took the decision, okay, we need to go and evaluate the market or evaluate the solutions out there and see what's best for Transavia?
In the end, we launched a project in the end of 21, also pre-corona, as I think many of you did as well. We started looking at a market scan in the beginning of 2020. Corona came, budgets were cut. My team was reduced with 50%, so we were just maintaining the systems as best we could, but we didn't have room or budget to really look for a new system. That ended in the summer of 21, when we slowly started ramping up the project to look for a replacement, and that's where we started at the end of 21 to do our market.
That was a decision. That's cool. So can you elaborate when you started off this? You put the team together, is the project team together, you had some management that wanted to be in part of it?
Yeah, well, this is the proud team that I'm the product owner for. I think what really made us a strong team is that 50% of my team has been part of this team for the past 5 years, so there's a lot of knowledge included, and heavy involvement of the OCC. What sort of helped during Corona is that we had moved our OCC, which was located near the terminals in the crew center at the airport, to our main office. So my team is located less than 20 meters from the OCC itself, which makes interactions with the business very easy and useful. We set up together with the team. We hired a project manager to facilitate, and at least 2 of the 3 OCC staff that you see here during the implementation were actually rostered out fully from their shifts to help guide the implementation.
That's it. So, even if I hate to admit it, but there are a couple of competitive systems out there, and some here in the room. But so it must have been a very time-consuming and difficult exercise to evaluate them all and finally come to a conclusion. And so, what criteria did you put up as important for Transavia for this case, to make a choice and eventually choose, I guess?
Yeah, well, we did the usual RFP phase. I think that in total took about 4 to 5 months to end up with a choice. Of course, we had the various. We started out with collecting the business requirements. What's the end goal, long term, that we wanted to try to achieve? We pulled in heavily also from the IT department. What criteria on the long run would be come to play as a factor in the decision making. One of the things that we did was we gave all the vendors several real world scenarios from the OCC and involved the business in the demos so that they could really evaluate the system based on their experiences from the OCC. And we helped try to change also the mindset at the OCC. A lot of people at the OCC have been working there for a long time, do things in a certain way, and we try to change their mindset that when looking at a system, oh, but I've always done it this way, why does the system do it differently? Show them that with adjusting some processes, you don't have to try to change the system. And that really helped us set a good implementation at the OCC and help change the mindset as well. And I think on the IT side, we weighed heavily being it cloud-based, web-based.
That's a good way of working. So what replacing then? I mean, it demands quite a substantial work within the company that convince your colleagues that this is a better system. There's integration of data. There's different integration with other systems and so forth. Training of users. So how did you cope with all these potential risks to eliminate the risk factor of the?
Well, I think key for us was in the past 4 years that we simplified our IT landscape. that we created a sort of plug-and-play system for applications. So we created a lot of services in our what's called the TIPCO middleware layer, so that we could really simplify removing and adding systems. Simplifying that landscape, we've seen a number of incidents in the past 4 years. Really, when I started with the team, we had several incidents from the OCC per week, some a few per day. We have a review every 2 weeks of what we've done in the sprint, and I hardly see any incidents on the board. So that really makes sure that we have a stable IT ecosystem within Transavia. Alignment with other product teams, they are highly dependent on the data that we use. We're dependent on other teams. So getting in the right priority to have those teams involved in implementation was key. Also knowing that for us the Airbus would be coming this year put a lot of pressure, at least on us, to deliver on a timely fashion.
It's good thing. So it happens now that you've been on operation for some time, and we've had I think 6 months now. We went live in April. So it happens sometimes afterwards when we're at the time of operation that you evaluate, go back in time, and this is how the last 6 months has been for you, and you wonder, did we do the right thing? Why did we replace it in the beginning? And so maybe some airlines would maybe even think that they did the right or wrong choice. So what is your opinion right now? Do you think would you have taken the same decision?
Yeah, I think so far in the working relationship, it's been a great journey, a lot of trust. We've had a smooth landing on the go live. I remember our head of OCC being there during the go live. Once it was in production, we switched the aircraft to see it run through all the various systems. And he was actually looking at the Schiphol airport app, and I think within a few seconds he saw the aircraft's registration being switched, which was of course a good success that the connection and activity worked. Then also we're like, okay, and then what? In the middle of the night we don't operate any flights, so we really had to wait until the morning wave to see the full success. What I said, the relationship and trust that we built already I think in the POC phase in the half year before, that set the tone for a good relationship, good implementation.
Well, I'm happy to hear that at least you would take the same decision again. So at least finally, if there are no obviously, you are an obvious expert now in ops replacing systems, and you can probably call yourself like an ops system replacer of brains, so to speak. So what recommendations, if anybody would ask you here, what recommendation would you give them from the beginning there, to why evaluate and go on, and how to go through the process?
Well, we put a lot of focus on seeking out a partner for the long term. Op systems are not replaced yearly. That mostly takes at least a small decade. The ease with which we could integrate, I think, was key. Because in the end, my team's time is quite valuable. We try to manage other products and other developments, and also in-house developments as well. So spending less time on managing the applications actually saves us quite a bit of time and value. What I mentioned, the partner that we looked for in the Agile manifesto, it says customer relationships over contracts. I think that's definitely the key that we were able to sit down together. Probably one of the biggest drivers is also the mindset at OCC. So it's not just an application that we throw into the OCC, but really have the OCC staff taken out of shifts, be ambassadors of the product within the OCC. This way, even our most critical users, we selected, when we started the project, I asked our head of OCC, I want Jordi to be a part of the implementations, and he said, why him? He said, because he's loved by everyone in the OCC, so if he convey any new features or any new systems, it's him. And he was even able to turn the most critical users into becoming trainers for think that's for us a key to success in really having OCC take ownership of the implementation itself, besides the IT side.
That's great. Well, that's certainly an interesting journey. I'm sorry about this, but now, I mean, you're live, you're flying, operations are going, and you managed to do this, and you managed actually to fly to replace it while you were actually operating. So I mean, this was done over a night, which is impressive. And so from IBS, we've been, of course, very, very proud to have worked with you throughout all this, and we want to thank you really much for all the commitment and all the contribution that you have done for the development of the ops system of ours. Meaning that now that you're a partner of ours, you're also part of our community center. You're helping us develop this product and coming in with great insights into how we want to develop this product for the future, giving good inputs for the roadmaps and so forth. So for that, I just want to thank Transavia a lot. And for those of you who have any more questions and details regarding how to replace not only an ops system, but the IBS ops system, I have a very strong team here with me today. We have partnered here, Bruckner, who was situated down in Switzerland, and he will know anything about not only on the iFlight side, but also on anything that has to do with flying operations. Daniel Stecher needs not so much introduction. So many of you know him, and of course we have our product super expert here, Satna Nair, as well. And she will really, she was one of the key persons actually to make this doable and happier, both in the flying in and to the end. I'm sorry.
It's not picking you up.
Nah, it's not picking me up, but maybe you can hear me anyway.
Okay.
So we are. So I just want to say we have a booth out here, and feel free to drop by or grab us by the bar. We will certainly have a pint for you now that we are in the UK, and we should enjoy the good weather with it. We are standing here for the change. We're standing here between you and the coffee break, I know. So
well,
any questions coming in?
Yeah, don't worry. You've got 12 minutes to the coffee break, so we have time for questions.
All right.
We've got 3 here at the moment. First one, they're all anonymous, by the way. First one, you've had Agile coach and Scrum Master on project team. Were they helpful? Would you be able to manage without them?
Maybe the Agile coach, yes, but the Scrum Master is really in the moments during the project where you need to find alignment between team members, between different teams, where it might not click, really to take away the risks, open up the conversations, and end up with a really good cooperation with respect. Sure, there's some clashes between teams or team members, but yeah, the Scrum Masters really make work, and yeah, they'll be one of the last people I would face up from.
Okay, second question. Are you using any real-time automatic disruption solve for aircraft crew and passengers?
No.
Okay. Last question. From which system have you replaced your ops platform?
We used to have movement control, which was originally from, I think, Rockade, taken over by Sabre, which is now part of CAE, or the product is now CAE.
I've got a new question, fourth question. What are the key challenges when you'll introduce the A321 in the system?
Well, to the iFlight Ops System 0, we actually did a dry run on production without sending data to the outside world last week. It went flawless as far as integration to other systems. Yeah, it would be great to see, mentioned the past few presentations, we don't have SATCOM. Well, we don't have it either on the 7.3, but we will get it into the Airbus, so that will be for the future, I think, a lot of enablement for us to communicate with pilots, but also to receive and send data over SATCOM instead of via ACARS.
Okay. You've had another 3 questions come in. How many other systems have you had to integrate with?
List. Directly, well, receiving systems. Outgoing, I would say at least a quarter of the company applications. But these, which way we do that is we have the middleware, where we have what's called an operational flight service, and from there, any other application that needs actual flight data or flight scheduling data from the system can retrieve it from this service. And we use iFlight to create a source of truth as far as prioritizing ACARS versus movements and what the delay codes are and such.
Okay. Was the integration layer with other systems done internally or by IBS?
No, internally. Fully.
At the moment, last question is, you use Agile or waterfall development, and why?
Agile. In a lot of products that we self-develop, it's very incremental. In the end, using or replacing a system, it looks a bit more waterfall because in the end you start somewhere with an MVP and then you go live. It's not that we can release it in little bits into the OCC. But yeah, we stick to our MVP and we will pick it on more of an agile way in the coming years, enhancing all of the features and integrations possible. So that will be more on a per value case basis what we do next for the coming year.
All right, okay. I think that's all the questions for now. So Victor and Ed, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.